Dragon Ball Z and the PlayStation 2. A legendary duo. But let's be real, not all DBZ games on PS2 were created equal. Some were absolute masterpieces, and others, well, they should have been erased by Xeno himself. So today, we're ranking every Dragon Ball game on PS2 from worst to best. Get ready because this is going to be hype. Let's go! Alright, let's get this disaster out of the way first. Dragon Ball Z Sagas. Imagine someone told you, hey, what if we make an open-world DBZ game? You'd be hyped, right? Well, don't be. Sagas was a broken, clunky mess. The graphics? Terrible. The controls? Worse than Yamcha's win-loss record. Enemies would just stand there like NPCs that forgot their programming. And worst of all, the entire game could be beaten in under 3 hours. That's shorter than a filler episode of Dragon Ball GT. Now, Infinite World should have been amazing. I mean, it plays like Budokai 3, so how could they mess it up? Well, let's just say they tried. They removed beam struggles, they removed Dragon Rush, and instead, they added random platforming and mini-games. Who wanted that? I mean, why am I running on Snake Way when I could be throwing hands with Perfect Cell? This is a hidden gem that most fans never played. Super Dragon Ball Z took inspiration from Street Fighter, so the combat was more technical, and every punch felt heavy. But here's the thing, it had a tiny roster and almost no story mode. So if you wanted an arcade-style DBZ fighter, it was solid. But if you wanted crazy transformations and beam struggles, you were out of luck. Ah, the one that started it all. Budokai 1 was the first real DBZ fighting game on PS2, and for its time, it was groundbreaking. It had anime cutscenes, a great story mode, and hype beam struggles. But no, it was slow, and the combat felt stiff compared to later games. Still, this game was a huge moment for DBZ fans back in the day. This is where Dragon Ball fights changed forever. Budokai Tenkaichi introduced full 3D movement, flying battles, and insane combos. It was a dream come true, but let's be real, it felt unfinished compared to what came later. The combat was clunky, and the roster was tiny compared to the sequels. Still, this was the foundation for the greatest DBZ games ever. Budokai 2 took everything great about Budokai 1 and cranked it up. The graphics were way better, and we finally got crazy fusions like Tiencha. But then they hit us with that weird board game story mode. Why? Still, the combat was solid, and the cel-shaded style was beautiful. It's just not quite as iconic as Budokai 3. Now we're talking. Budokai 3 is where everything clicked. The combat was fast, smooth, and just felt perfect. And that Dragon Universe mode? It wasn't just a story mode, it was an RPG adventure where you could fly around Earth, level up, and find secret battles. This game was a 10 out of 10. If you love classic 2D fighting, Budokai 3 is still one of the best DBZ games ever. Now we're hitting legendary status. Budokai Tenkaichi 2 wasn't just an upgrade, it was a huge leap forward. The combat was faster, the roster was way bigger, and the story mode, it covered every major DBZ saga, including movies. You could finally do beam clashes, fly in full 3D, and the game had one of the biggest rosters in DBZ history. This game was insane. And here it is, the king of Dragon Ball Z games on PlayStation 2. Budokai Tenkaichi 3 wasn't just a game, it was a dream come true. This game had 161 playable characters, the biggest roster ever, fast, fluid combat that felt just like the anime, perfect beam struggles, amazing transformations, and non-stop action. It even had online battles before online gaming was mainstream. This wasn't just the best DBZ game on PS2, it might be the best DBZ game ever. No wonder fans still play this today.